This is the Wing Woman Show. Are you ready?
You're listening to the Wing Woman Show. Today, our guest is Melissa. She is the author of Hi, I'm Hungry and the founder of Food X Feels. Melissa, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. This is a great day.
Yes. I am just so intrigued with everything you were talking about. So let's just walk backwards based on our conversation before of how you even got started in the food industry.
Oh, yeah. My parents cooked all the time. And, I was born in Long Island, and my whole family was basically brought up in Manhattan, the Bronx, Long Island. And,
Mm-hmm.
they plucked me from Long Island when I was like two and a half, and they moved me to upstate New York. So, when you talk to anyone in my family, they have all these amazing New York food stories. And I'm like, hello, pass them down to me because you
Yeah.
stole them. But yeah, so I was really lucky to grow up with an Italian grandmother who cooked all the time. My parents cooked all the time. So spending time in the kitchen was a sweet memory.
Yeah, so you ended up moving down to Florida. Did you come down to Florida just to go to college, or were you already down here?
Yep, I came just to go to college. So University of Tampa, you know because you went.
Yeah.
The moment you step on the campus, it's pretty magical. So that's what drew me here.
Yeah, I used to be a tour guide at UT, and I mean, everyone comes from like up north, New York, New Jersey, everyone is from up
Yep,
there.
all New Englanders.
Yeah, so when you were starting college, did you want to have a career, something in like food, or did you kind of want to like get away from that?
I've always wanted to be a food writer. I wanted to be a food critic. Growing up, I wanted to write for Bon Appetit magazine.
Yes.
So one of the first things that I did, so when I went to University of Tampa, this is going to make me sound like a dinosaur. They did not have a journalism major yet. So that's, yep, your face.
Wow.
You're like, excuse me, how could that be? Don't know. There was a journalism minor though, so I did take that, and part of that, of course, was writing for the campus newspaper. And one of the first things I did was ask them to create a food critic role for me. So I was definitely able to integrate my love for food into
Yeah, look at
college.
you. It's not There's not a lot of college freshmen or underclassmen who just show up and want to create their own role for themselves.
Yeah, I also had a campus TV show called Minute Meals with Melissa.
No.
I don't even know if it ever made it to air, but my friend Alex, who was leading the film department there at the time, was like, let's produce a cooking show. So
Okay, but that's like the best name for like a college cooking show, like Minute Meals with Melissa. That is so cute.
it was adorable. And looking back, I would love to see the footage that's
Yeah.
probably like sunk
So
in
you
at the
were like
bottom of the
you
ocean.
were really confident about like pursuing this career in food and like putting yourself out there already like so early on.
Yeah, I always felt like I was meant for it, or it was meant for me.
Yeah.
So
Is it because like you grew up and you kind of like refined your cooking skills from like a very young age?
yeah, I would say like I just grew up around food, and
Mm-hmm.
so I felt really comfortable around it. I have memories with my mom and dad making Sunday sauces and
Yeah.
meatballs, and just like in upstate New York, it gets very cold. So on those winter Sundays and weekends, we would make soups that would cook for hours. And yeah, I think that just having that and being around that,
Yeah.
gravitate to it and feel like I could do it. It felt
Oh
approachable.
yeah. It's interesting because we interviewed another girl. Her name's Marissa, actually. But she started a wine brand, and she like spoke to similar things, how like she has memories of her parents inviting friends over and them all sharing like a bottle of wine. And like to have a company and a future rooted in that is something like so special. But was there ever a moment where you were like, I don't think I want to be like around food anymore?
I love food. I'm disgusting. I like eat what I want. I like don't believe in diet culture. I think professionally though, since I knew that I didn't want to be a chef. Let's put it that way. I
Yeah.
knew that I didn't want to be like in the kitchen for 14 hours a day, sweating over a cacio e pepe
Right.
dish. Like I knew that that wasn't going to be like my path. But I did after college work in nonprofit for 2 years, which I would say has been like my only hiatus from food.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was a great experience.
Right. So after you worked with which nonprofit was it again?
Big Brothers, Big Sisters.
Okay, so you worked there for 2 years, right?
Yep.
And then after that, which role did you transition into?
After that, I moved to New York City and I became the
Oh,
director of marketing.
that's right. Yeah, you packed up all
Yeah.
your stuff, right?
I literally one day texted my boss and I was like, Mike, do you think I would be totally crazy if I gave you my 2 weeks notice today and packed up my car and moved to New York City? And he was like, no, you should do it. Do what you feel is right,
Wow.
So I moved there and I became the director of marketing for a luxury catering and events company called Newman's Kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really where I was able to refine my palate and work with chefs every day.
Mm-hmm.
Since they were a catering company, we had like a fleet of chefs. Of course, we had our executive chef of events and
Right.
executive chef catering, and I really was able to be part of many tastings and menu development. And like I would literally run into the freezer like, every morning and steal peanut butter gelato. Like, it was great. It was definitely like one of the building blocks of why I love food so
Right.
much and have
Yeah.
continued to pursue it.
Right. Well, that's such a fun experiment. I mean, or experience. That's like just getting the gelato. Like I would be all over that. Don't even worry about paying my salary because that would be fine.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And like I got so much from that experience. Our chef used to take us through Chinatown and to all of these different markets, and
Wow.
we would call them, culinary food trips, little field
Yeah.
trips.
So you got like your New York City food experiences.
110%.
Yeah. So when did you ultimately decide to make the jump to work for yourself?
Well, I had moved back to Tampa and
Mhm.
I was working at the time for a food and beverage based marketing agency. And I did that for about 2 years. And one day I just woke up and I was like, I can be doing all of this
Mhm.
work for myself.
Mhm.
And after that, I just made the call.
Yeah. So which experience do you think was the most important for you, just like either it was like confidence or skill building in order to prepare yourself for like taking on your own company?
Oof, it's so hard. And you know this too. When you
Mhm.
start a company, it's just like there are so many different things that come at you that
Yeah.
you could never anticipate. And I
Mhm.
feel like everything, I don't know that there was like one shaping moment for
Mhm.
me that I can say like really prepared me for it, because to be honest with you, I was so unprepared. I was
Yeah,
so
yeah.
unprepared. But I feel like it's like one of those things. It's like having a baby. Like, are you ever really ready to do it?
Right, right. That's so true.
But then you do it and you're like, okay, I can do this. This is awesome. So
Yeah. So now your company primarily focuses on the marketing side, but you were telling me about this whole new world that I didn't even know was a thing, recipe development.
yes, ma'am. So I definitely focus on digital marketing and food photography. That's my thing. That's my happy place. But recipe development is also something that I offer and brings me lots of joy. So brands usually reach out to me, and it's because partially due to my Instagram following and blog and the fact that I just published a cookbook
Right.
to help them with recipe development. So like brands like Moody will reach out and say, "Hey, we just launched this new line of pizza sauces. Can you help us develop a pizza recipe?" So it's fun. It is so fun.
Yeah. So walk us through like the process of even working for people who want to maybe work in the food industry on that side. Like walk us through the process and like maybe some other opportunities, because I personally didn't know about like recipe development. I know that you even do like online cooking classes. So I feel like you are really like the go-to gal when it comes to being flexible in this industry. So like what are some other opportunities that people starting out can take advantage of?
Ooh, I would say if you are interested in learning more about food marketing, start by working in a restaurant
Mhm.
and understanding the nuances of what it's like behind the scenes and the challenges that chefs and business
Mhm.
owners and even waitresses face, in the industry so that you can then be educated to provide the solution to
Right.
them. For me, when I started out in photography or even food blogging way back when, I would quite often reach out to restaurants, whether it was in the form of an email or a DM or
Mhm.
calling, and ask if I could come shoot their food for free. If I
Yeah.
could
Okay,
show
so let's
myself.
stop there because I feel like that's like a really good opportunity for people to get started, because they can build their portfolio in that way.
Mhm.
So you mentioned like you just started by DMing, messaging people to just come in and shoot their food for free. But how and when did you make the transition where you started like actually asking for money for your work?
Ooh, I think it was a case by case basis,
Mhm.
like I'm very strategic when it comes to business, as
Mhm.
most people are. And so my approach was, okay, I'm going to partner with the best chefs in town, the best restaurants, and I will go provide a free service.
Mhm.
And that sets the stage then for you being in those spaces. And then other people see you there and they say, "Oh, well, she worked with these people.
Right.
That's instant credibility." Um, and so it's also about relationship building, like
Mhm.
being able to do that and offer a free service and then gain the confidence to then start charging for it when you feel like you've reached a level of,
Right.
okay, this is in a great place and I can sell the service.
Yeah, because that's how I started with Wing Woman too in the beginning, is that I probably picked like three strategic people in our community that I knew were like well respected and offered to manage their brand for free. And then eventually, I mean, like even in a matter of like 2 or 3 weeks, I started getting more clients. But that's definitely like where I recommend everyone to start out, because I feel like that's just the foundation of building a well-respected brand.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think that it's also about community. For me, like
Mhm.
there are so many brands that I love and I want to support, and I'm here to do that. It's not
Right.
always about money, and
Right.
it's really like you're doing something that you're passionate about, and
Right.
at the same time you're positively impacting people around you, which always feels good too.
Right. It's definitely a good test to see if you're in the right industry or the right role, because same with me, like I'll look at brands and I'm like, I would still work for free for them because like I'm so passionate about their impact, their product, or whatever it is. So it's a good test to make sure you're in the right industry. Like for you, like you're so excited about developing a pizza recipe for pizza sauces, which is so cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's just again one of those things like you gravitate to what you're comfortable with and
Mhm.
what and then
Yeah.
on the other side of that, if someone asked me to develop a sushi recipe, I would be like,
Right.
"Oh shit, I don't know what to do."
Right.
Let me lean into that and be
Yeah.
uncomfortable, but still be open to it.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So you do marketing, branding, you have the recipe development, and then now I started seeing that you're doing online cooking classes, right?
yeah, yeah, I that was something that kind of was born out of COVID.
Yeah.
I was like getting really sad that I couldn't interact with any of my clients. I couldn't, for a while, I was the food photographer for Creative Loafing. So I was spending a lot of time in restaurants, and, COVID happened, and of course, like, the world exploded. But yeah, starting the cooking classes was kind of a way to reconnect with people and to also shake people's schedules up while they were at home. I
Right.
don't know about you, but I feel like now we're working from home, we're working so much more because you're
Yeah.
constantly connected.
Yeah.
So it was like a great way to give myself a mental break, but then
Yeah.
also like bring joy to other people.
Well, yeah,
So
kudos to you because like you were using your gift during such, especially in the beginning when no one knew like exactly what was going on. Like you were using your gift to just bring so much positivity.
that's always the goal, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
let's like, because now with your cookbook, like your book is actually sitting in the kitchens of so many homes now. So your book and your recipes are bringing positivity to almost every night. Someone's probably making like a little mini recipe from you. So when did you know that you wanted to even start developing those recipes for your cookbook?
Oh, funny story. It's actually not that cool of a story, but when you own your own business, you go through these phases of, oh, should I be doing this? And
Mhm.
oh, imposter syndrome settles
Yeah.
in. And the day that I decided to write the cookbook was during one of those days I was having. I was talking to my boyfriend. We were sitting on the couch in the living room, and he was like, "Listen, you don't need to be stressed out about this. You're fine." He was like, "What do you love to do?" And I'm like, "I love to write, and I love food, and I love food photography." And he's like, "Okay, you love to write, you love food photography, you love food." He's like, "Why aren't you writing a cookbook? Why don't you write one?" He was like,
Mhm.
"That can be your passion project." And it was literally as easy as that. And after, like, the next day, I started working on the cookbook. So
Wow. So the recipes in the cookbook, are they like long recipes you've had for a long time, or did you develop them specifically for the book?
well, I would say there's a small handful that are family recipes, but the rest I developed specifically for the book.
I would want to keep my family recipes to myself.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, girl, I feel that way about every recipe I make. I'm like, oh, this is
I
mine,
would, yeah.
But then I'm like, well, this is so good. How can I not share it with people?
Yeah.
I would say what's different about my book is that everything is categorized by like life moments instead of the chapters being like
Mm,
chicken, fish, pork,
I
pasta.
love that.
I wanted to give everything in the book a time and place. It's recipes for everyday moments because I too have a ton of cookbooks that I don't ever open. And I feel like it's because
Hmm.
I open them and I get instantly overwhelmed
Yeah.
sometimes, and then I'm just like, well, I'll make my own recipe. This is
Right.
fun.
Right. I know, I
But
can't wait to
now,
get mine because like I need the recipes for everyday moments because I'm never like a really intricate cook or anything. Like I need everyday moment kind of things.
yeah, yeah. And it was really important to me too to make them all the recipes approachable. And
Hmm.
there are a few challenging ones, but I would say for the most part, they're like,
Good.
I'm not like asking you to run to the specialty grocery store to
Right.
buy a $17 jar of olives.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
pretty low key.
Good. Yeah. So you launched your book in May. Did you say May you launched it?
Yes, the um soft opening. See,
This,
I'm
I know
strong.
you're
I'm literally they're ingrained in my brain.
they
No, the refill was in May.
Okay, so you launched it in May. And then like what's your vision for the book?
I definitely want to use it, in a way to gain exposure, but
Mhm.
also make people happy, and then
Yeah.
I fully have plans on writing future books.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I mean, just when you see the cover of the book, oh my gosh, it's like enough to make you want to pick it up. It doesn't even look like a normal cookbook because it's like it looks so fun.
Thank you.
It
I would
looks so
say, like,
fun.
My most favorite moment of having a published cookbook so far has been seeing it in Martha Stewart's shop online. The day that I found it there, because I wasn't even notified that she started carrying it, I literally was just like, I could die right now and be so happy.
Holy cow. So how does that work?
So I self-published, and when you go through a publishing company and you're self-publishing, what happens is you publish your title and then they send out a distribution notification to all of their partners. And I can only assume that Martha was a partner, and received the email and decided to pick the book up. So it's not
Wow.
any more intricate than that, but
That's like a print out and hang on the wall kind of moment, you know? Because like I feel like that's like every like foodie's dream. Like Martha Stewart, Rachel Ray.
same. I'm like, maybe next year, this time, I'll be hanging out with Martha Stewart and
Maybe,
Snoop Dogg, and we'll be chilling at the pool, like making cool cocktails. I mean, who knows?
I mean, it could definitely happen.
I'm manifesting it right here, right now.
Yeah, manifest it right now. Your brand, I feel like I've even like as a follower have watched it grow like over the course of even the past 6 months. So what would be your biggest piece of advice for someone wanting to get started in food or maybe wanting to publish a cookbook to growing that brand online?
Ooh, I would say be consistent and in everything that you're doing, and definitely stay true to who you are. Like scribble outside of the lines. Maybe because I'm an Aquarius, I hate being put in any sort of box.
Yeah.
But really just like stay true to what you want and your vision, and don't vary from it. I think that when I decided to start the cookbook, I had like a very particular vision in mind, and it was totally different than any other cookbook. And it could have really bit me in the ass. But it ended up being really great. And so just stay true to who you are and be consistent. It's about reputation and just doing really good work. And, you know, when you do great work and you're the one human doing it, then you become associated with good things and successful outcomes and beautiful grand openings of restaurants and beautiful, you know, food photography. And so like it's an association thing, you know, do good work, people see you, and it will get recognized. I think a lot of the time, like when you're working in a brand and it's your personal brand, you're so heads down in it that you're not looking around like for validation or, you know.
So it must feel like a really just like a full circle moment for you now that your parents are opening a restaurant. But is that their first restaurant that they've opened?
No, so they actually opened a pizza fusion way back when, which is now Tampa Pizza Company.
Okay.
I went through a little rebrand with its sister restaurant.
Yeah.
And they also are part owners of another restaurant in South Tampa. So this will be baby number 3.
Wow.
But this one is extra special because it's called Santell, and which is our real last name. I got chopped off, you know, when everyone came from Italy to Ellis Island, sadly. But it's going to be authentic Italian pizza, pasta, Long Island style. So I can't wait for it to open.
Yeah. Well, tell everyone where we can get your cookbook.
So my cookbook is available on Amazon, and you can follow me on Instagram at Mel Santell.